And what I do is to work with chiropractors and to help them understand how to better communicate with patients. And so I began chiropractic care in a unique way in that I was asked to write or help write some videos to help explain chiropractic to patients. So doctors could play a videotape in their offices to explain chiropractic principles so they wouldn't have to repeat the same explanation over and over again. So to prepare myself for being able to explain chiropractic to potential new patients, I began chiropractic care as a research project. And so I showed up in this office non-symptomatically. I didn't have any aches or pains or headaches or anything, but wanted to find out what it would be like to receive chiropractic care. And so I began care, and I can't say that there was any earth-shattering experiences. After all, I kind of felt pretty good beginning chiropractic care and felt maybe incrementally better, but there weren't any big miracles. And I began chiropractic care soon after getting married. And at that particular time in my life, I had no particular interest in, shall we say, extending the genetic lineage. And so I got a vasectomy, and very common procedure. And life went along quite nicely. And about 6 or 7 years later, my wife, who had a history of having fibroid tumors, she began chiropractic care as well, but she had these fibroid tumors and went to see her gynecologist, and he said, yeah, we can remove those. There's two ways of doing that. One, we can just do an in-office procedure with a local anesthetic, or we can, check in at the hospital and have a full-blown, day in, day out kind of thing. She chose the hospital, and but couldn't get into the hospital for about 3 weeks. So we waited 3 weeks, and she shows up for the day-long procedure. And she's under anesthetic and in the room, and I'm waiting in the waiting room for the post-op, and her OB-GYN came storming out of the operatory, and he came right into my face. What do you think you're trying to do, young man? I said, well, what do you mean? Are you trying to get me to do an abortion in a Catholic hospital? I said, no. He says, well, your wife is pregnant. Really? That's interesting. So yeah, that was, but now the concern was, well, she's under anesthetic, and what's that going to do to the baby, and all these things started going through besides the obvious. And so yeah, then we went to the doctor a week later for a sonogram, and yep, there was a baby in there, and in fact there were 2 of them. So yeah, that's kind of interesting, and of course this caused a great deal of interest on the part of relatives who were wondering just whose baby this might be. So so we went. I went to a urologist to see if I was still shooting blanks, and it turns out that I wasn't. In fact, we were using live ammunition apparently, and so I started thinking about, well, what would cause this? And it turns out that about 3 months earlier, for the very first time since the vasectomy, the thought entered my mind, wonder what it would have been like if we'd had children. The thought, the intention. Eric's a miracle, and he's 24 years old now. That's a miracle.